That was President Ronald Reagan. Shot 40 years ago in Washington, D.C., John Hinckley was found not guilty of attempting to assassinate Reagan by reason of insanity. Well, today, Hinckley's lawyers are in front of a judge seeking his unconditional release from supervision. Remember, he's at home now, released a few years ago, claiming he's no longer a threat. Ken Starr is a former independent counsel, Ed Rollins, former Reagan campaign manager, and both are Fox News contributors. And gentlemen, welcome back. Nice to see you both. Here is
Thank you.
Yeah, here's the statement from the attorney, Barry Levine, the attorney for Hinckley. He has adhered to every requirement of law, and based on the views of a variety of mental health professionals, he no longer suffers from a mental disease, and he hasn't suffered from a mental disease for decades. So they want unconditional release. Ken Starr, is there grounds for that now?
Well, I think the order of the day has to be caution. When you go back to, obviously, the offense itself was so horrific, but when you go back to Judge Paul Friedman's order just a few years ago, you see it's just filled with restrictions and safeguards, there are guardrails, and so it's at the same time very balanced in that it provides for a good deal of freedom. So I would just say caution should be the order of the day. There's a very elaborate treatment process that continues to be in place. So I think this needs to be sort of a Scottish show me, prove it, that he is actually in a condition so that there should be unconditional release. That 16-page order from Judge Friedman is just filled with safeguards. And so I would say be quite cautious.
Ed, what do you think the Reagan family would want?
I would think obviously at this point in time they would. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ed.
I think they would like to have. Thank you. I think they would like to have him maintained and watched. This isn't about punishment. Punishment went out the door a long time ago. If he had white privilege, he had a millionaire father who could hire the best lawyers. They found him guilty by insanity. And to be monitored for life. At the end of the day now, the last several years, he's lived with his mother who passed away recently. He's been under medication. He can't use the internet. He can't travel. There's a whole variety of things. But again, it's not about punishment. If it was punishment for what he did, he'd be in a supermax and never see the light of day again. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day here, this is a man who basically tried to murder President Reagan. Also before that, tried to kill President Carter. He shot your counterpart, Dana, Jim Brady, was a dear friend of mine, colleague, who was never the same again. He put a bullet right in his head. He shot a Secret Service man. He shot a Metropolitan Police officer who were brave and courageous. At the end of the day, I think there would be an outrage by Reagan supporters across this country if he was totally released. He needs to be monitored. He needs to be monitored carefully because I'm not a psychiatrist. I probably would have been better in the business I was in for 50 years, politics, to have been a psychiatrist, but I wasn't. So I can't make a judgment on that, but what I can say at this point in time is there's something irrational, something not right in this guy, and I think you need to monitor him the rest of his life.
There's some interesting details in this. I didn't realize he's allowed to travel, Ken, 75 miles from home when he requests permission. That's allowed.
Well, that's exactly right, that there is such a panoply of safeguards and restrictions, and yet what Judge Friedman did 3 years ago was really reduce the number of restrictions. So there has been, I think, a great care and sensitivity to let's strike the right balance here. And so I would again urge the key word, I think, is caution. And I think Ed puts his finger on it. This was just so horrific, and we just need the kinds of assurances that the order thus far has had in place. We do have a very experienced and careful judge in Paul Friedman who's been in charge of this case for a long, long time, for almost 20 years. So I think the process is in good hands.
Thank you both. Very interesting, and interesting to relive those moments.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ken.